Imagine if we are actually living in a simulation. Could our universe merely be an elaborate computer program, and humanity an accident of complex coding rather than natural selection? It's a radical theory, sure to challenge defenders of traditional science. Yet some audacious thinkers have discovered strange clues indicating our reality may not be as physical as it appears. The idea that life is an illusion controlled by mystical forces goes back to humanity's earliest spiritual beliefs. However, the cutting-edge concept of simulation theory gives this ancient notion a high-tech twist. Instead of supernatural beings, advanced alien civilizations could have created our world inside a vast supercomputer. We might be far more virtual than real, but before we explore whether we live in a simulation or not, join our community delving into speculative realms, past, present, and future. Subscribe and enable alerts to journey with us, uncovering mysteries through sci-fi adventures made real. When The Matrix hit movie theaters in 1999, it electrified popular culture with the premise that humanity was trapped inside a simulated reality indistinguishable from the physical world. The Wachowskis surely unlocked the creative spark behind simulation theory, but compelling as science fiction narratives might be, reality itself still seems too unfathomably complex for even an advanced civilization to compute. After all, life relies on intricate phenomena, like photosynthesis, governed by the fuzzy logic of quantum mechanics, physics we have yet to unravel despite decades of study. How could any programmer hope to condense such elaborate biochemistry into simplistic bits and bytes? The inner workings of a humble leaf may transcend the calculative capacity of any existing silicon processor. Now consider scaling that complexity up to the scope of our gigantic universe. With its hundreds of billions of galaxies and trillions of stars, each composed of their own trillion-plus atoms. Current computing technology cannot even accurately model a basic goldfish bowl with all its particulate interactions and behaviors. So simulating an entire cosmos at such an overwhelming scale stands utterly beyond present-day capability. With so many intractable obstacles to crafting a convincing simulated world, perhaps we should breathe a sigh of relief that our reality likely remains genuine. But before conclusively ruling out radical simulation theories, some critical questions persist. What if, for instance, supposed physical limitations themselves were illusions hard-coded into the simulation's framework? Let's listen to what Michio Kaku, a quantum expert, has to say about it.
Well, the answer is probably no, but for a very sophisticated reason. Life is quantum mechanical. Life is not based on zeros and ones, zeros and ones. Photosynthesis, for example, is a quantum mechanical process. It is the basis of all life on the earth, and we still don't know quite how it works. A flower can do calculations that our most advanced quantum computer cannot. Amazing, truly amazing. So Mother Nature is still smarter than us when it comes to the quantum theory. If you want to simulate the weather, for example, you have to simulate the motion of trillions upon trillions of atoms. No computer is that powerful that it can simulate the motion of trillions and trillions of atoms that just make up the atoms in this room. You can't do it.
That was a bold response. Quantum uncertainty, light speed's constancy, entropy gradients. These could be carefully parameterized constraints introduced by programmers to minimize computing demands for their galactic-scale simulation. Efforts to probe such boundaries may reveal subtle flaws, exposing these barriers as technical workarounds rather than natural principles. Scientists are thus investigating experimental approaches to uncover oddities that might betray digital artifacts underlying our seemingly analog reality. Additionally, we must be cautious not to restrict imaginings of the simulation concept solely within the biases of human engineering experience. Any sufficiently advanced civilization capable of conjuring entire realities may wield radically alien methods of computing unfathomable to our parochial understanding. Perhaps hacking direct interfaces into high-dimensional brains allows running elaborate simulations without needing to crunch the concentrated calculations comprising our version of number crunching. Conceiving reality as artificial ultimately challenges scientists and philosophers to re-evaluate the most elementary properties of existence itself. While subject to fantastic speculation, the simulation hypothesis raises questions that may inspire breakthroughs regarding the fundamental operation of our universe. And who knows, maybe someday in a distant future version of the Matrix, our far-progressed descendants will themselves set about programming fully realized simulations inhabited by unaware digital denizens. Suppose one of those simulations contained beings locked in debate over whether their world was simulated or genuine. But we are getting ahead of ourselves. Before leaping to science fiction conclusions, down-to-earth evidence must guide judgment. So let us ground this discussion by revisiting a legendary location, central to unraveling secrets that could expose hidden codes running our perceived reality. Let's re-examine consciousness and the mind, emerging profoundly from quantum effects, binding atomic interactions underlying neurochemistry. Researchers estimate accurately modeling such enigmatic phenomena could require computational capacities dwarfing even the most advanced supercomputers. Thus were we digital composites within a simulated realm subject to bitrate processing limits. The rich inner experience of awareness should frequently fragment under such strain. However, our subjective continuity of identity, regardless of external crisis, hints the intricacy of consciousness exceeds virtualization. Thought itself conceivably demands a platform equivalent to planets, with immense interrelational physical complexity to develop naturally rather than through programmed software alone. If so, perhaps entire worlds would need simulation just to enable autonomous thinking subjects to question their experience reality. Was that the intent of such a hypothetical simulation? To contain self-reflective beings pondering their artificial reality? If so, what theories might those digital denizens conceive regarding anomalies hinting at their unreal natures? Our imperfect appreciation of external reality through limited sensory perception could show a simplifying cut to reduce computational demands. Like any approximation stripping away nuance for efficiency, key details get lost. The resultant systems might appear beautifully balanced, but have loopholes revealing ad hoc workarounds to conserve simulator processing capacity. Scientists thus increasingly mathematically investigate reality's underpinnings, seeking subtle flaws, exposing hole patches appearing digitally stitched into the analog ether, pervading our universe's hidden codebase. While a flawless simulation may exceed even transcendent alien supercomputers, perhaps approximating certain phenomena with proof systems and procedural outputs offers enough verisimilitude to convince embedded consciousness. Like tricks of cinema special effects convincing brains into perceiving impossible illusions, an almost simulation could prove impossible to externally disprove if enough interrelational complexity gets built in to fool questioning minds. We must deeply consider this scenario that only through internal subjective self-realization could one prove or disprove the simulation hypothesis from within a simulation. Yet accurately manifesting consciousness purely through software seems implausible, given its apparent emergence from quantum processes bonding elemental particles into increasingly complex biomolecular structures. So even an almost simulation would require entry points allowing organic awareness incorporation to blossom subjective perspectives tied into virtual environments. Conceivably, android bodies in vats may host harvested brains immersed in diminished renditions of Earth life, playing out accelerated lifespans between synaptic fire signals exchanged with the simulation computer. Even augmented environments would struggle to convince minds that the surrounding unreality is credible. Glitchy outbursts could plague subjects, hinting at the constraints of an underlying simulation, and self-destructive tendencies risk losing vital data for any experimenters. Chemically masking symptoms contaminates observations, truly an intractable conundrum for hypothetical simulation architects. Perhaps such experiments only occurred during the genesis of this postulated world to enable our digital creation. Advanced forerunners may have faced extinction while desiring continuance through some form of offspring. Morphing identity remnants into virtual people in fully realized environments could equally satisfy survival instincts as corporeal endurance. This could explain why historic memory fails past a certain threshold, secrets lurking behind the simulation veil shrouding primordial events. What future revelations will tear that curtain away? As we question the deeper reality behind observed phenomena, seeking essential truths animating world and self, revelations may emerge through both pure contemplation and uncovered evidence. Whether glimpsing synchronicity in universal actualization or discerning coded machines powering existence, our collective destiny beckons ahead. Beyond this simulation may lie endless imaginary realms or ancient starry skies, or perhaps external reality forever remains concealed beyond the limits of our mortal minds. The journey continues regardless. Thus we persist in probing for the essential truths animating world and self through pure reason, spiritual awakening, scientific rigor, and imaginative wonder. If this is a simulation, then perhaps our purpose is to transcend it through wisdom and compassion,